The movie starts in a desert area, where we see a woman named Mallory driving her car. She is soon to be married as we learn that she is getting married after a week, so she is headed out of the city in order to make preparations for the big day in her sister's place. The girl doesn't really seem excited about getting married because she is unable to believe she is going to get married within a week. On her way there, she video chats with her sister, Ella. Ella tells her that she hasn't bought her plane tickets yet as she wants to make sure Mallory is actually in love and happy with her decision. Mallory responds by telling her she is happy in a fake voice, and hangs up. It is not known what makes her feel this way. As she drives on a secluded road deep in her thoughts, she turns on a service road from the main road. The girl takes the service lane as she plans on taking a shortcut to her destination, and that happens to be Denver. However, she is stopped in her tracks when her car gets broken down on the way. She then tries her best to get the engine started, but in vain. Mallory is now alone in a completely secluded area, and on top of that, there are no signals either, so she cannot call for help. When she tries to open a soda drink can, it explodes and soaks her clothes. She then goes changing her clothes in the back of the car, right when she is startled by someone. It is a man named Christian. The man asks her what's the matter, and well, he feels bad for the stranded girl and immediately gets started on repairing her car. Much to Mallory's good luck, the man knows what he is doing, and he successfully fixes the problem. Mallory then shows her gratitude, and the next thing we know, she is on her way. You guys must be thinking that she should have offered the man a ride. Well, this is exactly what Mallory thinks. As she drives on, she starts to think that the man is on foot and he helped her fix her car, so the least she could do for him is offer him a ride. She offers him to hop on, and as the two hit the road, we learn that Christian does not know the concept of shutting up. He starts talking and tries his best to impress Mallory as he tries to talk himself up. It's at this point he starts acting odd. He talks about how fate brought them together, and it was meant to happen like this. Not long after, we learn that this guy is an absolute perv as he starts to say really inappropriate things to her.
I don't think you can deep throat my huge cock anyway.
When Mallory has had enough of his crap, she stops the car and asks the boy to get out. Christian, however, is not the one to be obedient. He never got in the car to leave that easily. The perv suddenly takes out a knife and threatens to stab her if she doesn't do what he says. Mallory now has no choice but to drive on, and as she thinks of a way to save her life and get rid of the perv, she notices that Christian is not wearing his seatbelt. She then speeds as much as she can and drives down a guardrail near a curve. The car crashes, and the next thing we see, Mallory is hanging upside down in her car. When she tries to make her way out of it, it turns out that her foot gets stuck in the seat and she cannot move. Since Christian was not wearing a seatbelt, he landed out of the car, lying unconscious. He is injured but not as much as Mallory, and the man is in fact in a way better condition than she is. This is clear when the man wakes up, walks up to Mallory, and notices Mallory has one of her legs stuck. He then tells her to get herself out of there, before he leaves the poor girl hanging upside down in her car to die.
Please, please don't!
Mallory has no choice but to scream for help, and we can see that a river is close by. The night falls but no one is there to help her, and she is in the same condition for a long time now. As the night darkens, it gets colder and colder as well. Her condition now starts to get really bad. Mallory looks here and there and finds some of her clothes in her car, and somehow manages to put them on. To her good luck, the car still has some battery left, so she turns on the heater. The bad thing, however, is that coldness is not the only problem out there. She is stuck in the middle of what seems to be an area near a forest, and there are many wild animals out there. She immediately turns on the headlights of her car to scare them off, and it works. Miraculously, she manages to survive the brutal night. As the sun is about to shine, Mallory is still stuck and she is in big trouble because she has very little water left and nothing to eat. The whole day goes by, and no one is there to help the poor girl. She is still stuck in her car and hanging upside down. On the next morning, she is still there, looking around but finds not a single ray of hope. Mallory is in a really bad condition now, and to add insult to injury, Christian appears. He looks really happy and healthy. On top of that, he has that expression of satisfaction on his face, and feels no shame in admitting that he is enjoying every bit of Mallory's agony. He comes back to torture her mental as he eats and drinks in front of her. The perv then tells her again about how fate is a funny thing. As Christian sits there enjoying her pain and agony, he tells her that he has found a cabin. It is empty for now, but he thinks that a family lives there and the family is not home. Christian also sees that Mallory is not going to be around for a long time, as she might not survive another night. With that hope, he leaves there as Mallory shouts and begs for help. The third night falls. It is dark out there, and to her good luck, Mallory finds a lighter in her car. She ignites it to have some light, and possibly some heat in the dead of a cold night. Mallory then falls asleep, but not for too long. She is woken up by a family of rats who seem to have fun with her body. Mallory is now sick of everything and she becomes aggressive. This is the need of the hour for her as she goes on to kill a rat. After giving it some thought, the visit by the rats actually does not turn out to be bad for her, as she at least gets something to eat. The next morning, Mallory wakes up when her phone rings. This is the best thing that could have happened to her in the current circumstances, and the only thing that comes to her mind is hope. However, before she can get on with any phone calls, Christian appears again, and as soon as Mallory sees Christian there, she immediately hides her phone. Christian again starts to tell her about that cabin, and the family that lives in the cabin has come back. He then goes on to reveal that he has them locked up in their own cabin, and tells her that she doesn't need to be afraid of him at all, and he is now going to help her get out of there. The first thing Christian does is snatch away her cell phone from her when he notices that she has been hiding it from him. He then goes on to give her a saw. At first, Mallory tells him that she can't use the saw to cut through the door, and Christian says that she is absolutely right, but he doesn't expect it to because he only gave her the saw so that she can cut her foot and free herself. He adds that this right here is her only option, and if she does not get on with it soon enough, she might die here. After that, he leaves her all alone again. Mallory now has that saw in her hands, and she thinks about what Christian told her to do, but ends up screaming in frustration. The night falls. Mallory starts feeling thirsty because it has been quite a while since she has been out of water. God may have listened to her pleas when it starts to rain. The rain is heavy, so she would not die of thirst. When she turns on the radio, she learns that the roads are getting flooded because of the rainstorm, and people are turning to the small roads as the main roads are flooded. Shortly after, a car stops by her. Much to her dismay, it turns out to be her nightmare, Christian. As he pulls over, Mallory comes up with a plan, where she puts the blood of the dead rat on her foot and pretends to be dead. She makes it seem like she dies while she was trying to cut her foot off. Christian comes too close to check in with his flashlight. However, as he gets close enough, Mallory succeeds in stabbing him, steals his car keys, and immediately locks his car. After that, she throws the keys away in the dead of the night when he is not going to be able to find them. Now, the plan she has in mind is that someone might pass by, and they will notice his car stop by there. Not long after, a car approaches, and it turns out to be a police car. When the officer steps out of the car, Mallory screams out trying to get the attention of the policeman. Due to the storm being really noisy, Mallory's voice gets drowned in the thunders. Christian, on the other hand, keeps pretending to be an innocent man who happened to have gotten wounded in the storm, and asks the officer to drive him to the nearby cabin. Mallory keeps screaming, but no one is there to hear her screams anymore. She now starts to feel that if she isn't able to get out of there soon enough, she is not going to make it, and begins thinking about what Christian said. As she tries to find the courage to get on with that, she says enough is enough and starts trying to cut her leg off, but barely makes a few superficial cuts, before her car starts moving due to the flood. As the car starts to fall, the door of her car gets opened, and she gets free. Now, she really needs medical help, and on top of that, she needs to get out of that place. As Mallory approaches the riverside, she starts walking away from there. Not far from the river, Mallory spots a cabin, and hears someone screaming in there. This prompts her to move quickly towards the house, right when the stick she is holding triggers a bear trap installed on the ground. At this moment, she begins to think about the cabin Christian told her about. Mallory now knows that Christian must be in there, and with that possibility in mind, she starts to walk around the cabin. Here Mallory witnesses Christian kills the police officer who helped him before, and keeps their daughter named Katie a hostage. When she quietly steps inside the cabin, she sees that Christian has killed the homeowners as well, and she grabs the police officer's gun. Mallory manages to sneak in and tries to set the girl free, while Christian is trying a police uniform, possibly for his upcoming evil plan. Not long after, Mallory hears Christian's footsteps approaching, and hides right before the perv shows up. She then aims the gun at him and tells him that she will shoot him if he moves. Christian proceeds to attack Mallory, and in the meantime, Mallory tells Katie to run away. She struggles with Christian, and not long after, she is able to get away. When Christian enters the room looking for her, Mallory is no longer there. Mallory eventually beats him by pushing him off of a second-story balcony. He falls and crushes his leg into a bear trap. Mallory then limps downstairs with Katie and gives him his knife. She proceeds to tell him that she is going to give him the same chance that he gave her. Talking about fate, Mallory tells Christian that he's right. Maybe it was supposed to be like this after they first met. Before the film ends, Christian suffers from his wound, while thinking about what Mallory said. Mallory and Katie make their way down the road in search of assistance. And this is where